I am now the owner of Atari.
2 seconds later.
First of all, Atari, bitch ass, y'all know what the fuck I meant when I said I'm owning Atari.
By the time I was 18, I walked up on the corner and none of them stayed long.
Oh, where the fuck was I at? You walked up on corners and stayed there and talked to us. Ain't nobody
Got it.
Ain't nobody leave.
Let me tell you something.
Who the fuck left?
I got caught. Yeah. Now it's as simple as that.
Say the internet never forgets. But tonight it might just forgive nothing. Because the clips making rounds are wild, messy, and getting messier by the minute. Talk shows are buzzing, timelines are split, and fans are shocked as fresh receipts allegedly surface. A luxury watch bezel dropping mid-interview, a glossy private jet post being questioned by fellow passengers, and a diamond tester moment that, according to viral videos, doesn't go the way anyone expected. Insiders whisper that egos are bruised, group chats are leaking, and the family was left divided.
Let me ask you, how much?
100
grand? Wow. I don't know which one, how much is this drip?
220,000. It's just a Trump by itself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's 100 by itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the rings? We see you. What about the rings?
This like CMG ring like 80,000 by itself.
Okay.
My big dude ring 70,000.
Okay.
My pinky ring right here 15,000.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is you gotta sponsor me.
Divided over who should speak first and who should stay silent. Some claim a jeweler is being blamed. Others say a stylist is taking heat. And a few are insisting it's all a stunt gone wrong. Emotions ran high at red carpets and studios alike, as rumored phone calls turned into tense confrontations and who told the blogs became the question of the night. We're not saying any of this is confirmed, only that the chatter is loud, the timelines are ruthless, and the narratives keep flipping by the hour. So what really happened behind those filtered photos and borrowed shines? Stay close, because if the whispers are true, the next reveal could change the whole story. In the world of hip-hop, image has always been just as important as the music itself. Rappers know that the shine, the flash, and the stories they tell about their lives can build them into larger-than-life characters. But when those stories start to unravel, when the shine fades under the spotlight, that's when the drama...
Where'd you go to college?
I ain't go to college, but I turned it down.
Oh.
Yeah, I turned it down just to do this, just to grind from the rap.
So you had an opportunity to do the drumming thing?
Yeah, scholarship and everything.
Where at?
I think it was like in Jacksonville. Yeah, a big band in Jacksonville. It was a big college though, and they offered me like 15, some shit like 10 million or something like that, 5 million, something like that.
Wait. They offered you $5 million to play the drum?
Yeah.
What are you doing there?
Like, what the fuck y'all, like, you know what I'm saying? But I was so younger, like,
wait.
I didn't know what it was.
Are you sure they offered you $5 million?
Drama explodes. This is exactly what fans have been watching unfold lately. Whispers turned into headlines, clips turned into memes.
Did you ever get any scholarship offers when you were coming up?
Yeah, I had a scholarship.
You know, Big Boogie got $5 million to play the drums. He told me about it right here.
I thought he said 15.
15 million, you never know.
Nah, I'm gonna tell Boogie though.
Yeah, let him know.
Boogie cap. Yo ass cap. I got to see this shit.
I tried to tell him without telling him.
I'm gonna tell him.
Like,
Boogie, you got 5 million, boy. Your ass is dumb. You start rapping, fuck this shit.
Yeah, like Drumline had to have been about you, bro.
Yeah, that shit had to be about him. Nick Cannon won't even get 5 million for
he
no
didn't
motherfucker.
get $5 million for Drumline.
Hell nah, what the fuck? You getting 5 million? Boy, big Boogie. We might need to go back to that
memes. And suddenly, everyone wanted to know who was real and who had been faking it all along. The first tremors in this storm began on a glamorous red carpet night, where one rising artist strutted in, draped in diamonds.
The last time you were here, we went viral.
Yeah. You know what was crazy about that though? When you text me and said, we viral, let's do it again. So
you must be the greatest drummer of all time.
Yeah, gotta be.
It's safe to say you just got offered to go play drums for a school.
Yeah.
Not millions of dollars.
Yeah, not millions of dollars.
Claiming numbers so high that even the interviewer's eyebrows shot up. He proudly announced the cost of each ring, chain, and charm as if he was reading out lottery winnings. The cameras flashed. The crowd gasped. And for a moment it seemed like he had locked his place as one of the biggest flexers in the game. But fans at home weren't buying it so easily. They zoomed in on the jewelry box footage that had surfaced online weeks earlier. And that's where the trouble began. Tucked neatly on those same chains was a tiny label that read,
"Man, I'm happy to be here. My new album, man, is in stores July 16th. Make sure y'all pick that up. We just here, baby. We feeling good. You feel me?"
On top now, speaking of feeling good, man, I know that was crazy right there. That's the first time we let people perform. You lost something up?
Right there, right there.
Hold it. Is that homie? You lost? Yo, he almost lost the bezel. Take care of that before we continue. That's gotta go. You know what? Just hold it like that. It's all good, man. That's only 20K right there. It's 50,000 just dropped right there.
Says. To those in the know, that meant cubic zirconia, the cheaper cousin of real diamonds. Within hours, social media was swarming with accusations that the so-called six-figure drip might actually be—
I woke up in a new Bugatti.
You woke up in a new Bugatti? That person said that, man, he woke up in the watch without a bezel. Rollies don't screw off and Rollies don't fall off.
You had to check up. Hey, turn up.
We got to ask Ray J. Have your Rollie ever screwed off?
Who?
Have you ever seen the top of a Rolex or a Rolex screw off?
Nah, why? What just happened?
Huh?
What just happened?
I don't know.
Somebody's shit screwed up?
Somebody's shit fell off on TV or some shit like that.
Be worth less than a designer jacket. The rapper clapped back, insisting that people were free to call his chains whatever they liked. He argued that style was about—
I see that watch on your wrist. What happened?
Yeah, ain't gonna lie. I was just as shocked as my supporters and as like everybody watching, man. Cause like I looked down, I was like, yeah, it was like it was like a real reaction, man. Like you spend so much money on a watch, I spent $60,000 on that watch. You know what I mean? And for the bezel to come off of it, you know, I fired my jeweler.
About how you wore it, not what it cost. But the timing couldn't have been worse. Just a year earlier, he had already been accused of stretching the truth during an interview where he claimed to have turned down a multi-million-dollar music scholarship. At the time, fans were divided. Some laughed, some shook their heads, and others genuinely wondered if the story might have been true. But when he was asked again months later, sitting in the same podcast seat, his tune had changed. He admitted the scholarship had been real, but nowhere near the grand numbers he once bragged about. By then, the damage was done. The internet had already labeled him as a serial storyteller, and in an industry where credibility is everything, that tag was not easy to shake. While that drama was still echoing through fan debates, another moment stole the spotlight. A Florida rapper once known for his chart-topping anthem walked onto the BET Awards carpet ready to remind the world he was still shining. Dressed sharp and speaking confidently, he was mid-sentence of—
As simple as that. I was fake flexing. I got caught. No, I was not a coach. I was on a Delta flight in first class. Can't explain it enough. Got me, posted it, and I just had to own up to it. Like, y'all got me. Okay. You know how many rappers lie?
Right.
Y'all caught me one time.
Right.
I will never do this again.
Right.
It's over. I get it.
Because somebody posted you somebody, he ain't on no private plane, he right here. There
He right there. I said, asshole.
It's about his upcoming album when disaster struck. The camera zoomed in as a small but very expensive detail detached from his wrist and fell toward the ground. It was the bezel of his alleged $60,000 Rolex, sliding off as if it had been glued on seconds earlier. The interviewer tried to keep the moment light, even joking about the value that just hit the floor. But the clip spread faster than wildfire. Within hours, timelines were full of jokes, edits, and remixes of the moment, each one harsher than the last. Celebrities joined in too, with other rappers and even athletes chiming in, mocking the incident. One laughed that real Rolex watches don't just screw off like that, while another joked that the only Bugatti the rapper woke up in was missing its parts. The humiliation was so intense that he had no choice but to issue a response. He claimed he was as shocked as anyone and quickly fired his jeweler for what he described as a faulty watch. But the public wasn't convinced. To many, it felt like just another chapter in a growing book of rappers exposed for flaunting luxuries that didn't hold up under scrutiny.
Celebrities be wearing fake jewelry, but we good here to touch, real diamonds.
Trying to play me, trying to talk about my shit fake, my shit flawed and all
That shit dumb fake, you know what I'm saying? You see these shit's dancing, man. You talking about? Yo, Jimmy, come here. Let's see what's on your hand. You just got lucky real quick. You just getting lucky now, man.
Diamond tester challenge.
Man, his shit. That's my shit. You see, man. Alright.
Memes piled up. Another familiar name returned to headlines. A once child star who had grown up in front of the world posted a glossy shot of a private...
Touch my shit, Jimmy. Touch my shit.
Are you ready?
Hold on, you're not getting on the stone.
Oh, okay. I'm getting on the stone, bro.
Nah.
I'm getting on the stone, bro.
Nah, man, come on.
Where'd you get your jewelry from, dog?
The jet, captioning it with hints of glamorous travel for a major press run. Fans scrolled, admired, and some even envied. Until a sharp-eyed passenger on a commercial flight snapped a picture of that same rapper sitting comfortably in economy class. Within minutes, the two images were circulating together. The caption about private jets clashing with the reality of coach travel. The embarrassment was impossible to escape, especially once it was revealed that the jet photo he had posted wasn't even his, but a stock image from a travel website. Silent at first, then eventually admitted it was fake flexing. "I got caught," he said in a later interview, shaking his head with a mix of regret and defiance. "Yeah, I was fake flexing. I got caught." His honesty might have softened the blow, but it didn't stop fans from remembering other moments. Not long before, he had posted a photo.
I'm saying, in Hollywood, shit crazy. Last night was crazy. I don't even remember what the f happened. I got 10 bathrooms I could shit.
Photo of thick stacks of cash, captioning it liquid money. But once again, internet detectives dug deeper and discovered the original photo had belonged to a millionaire entrepreneur. The exposure was brutal. Confronted online, the rapper tried to prove he had his own stacks by flashing a different set of bills on camera. But the damage was already irreversible. In a moment that further fueled...
Hey, what it do? It's your boy, Soldier Boy. I'm just chilling in my $6 million penthouse. Yeah. I got TMZ so mad at me and DJ Academics and everybody. Oh, he renting the crib. Oh, it's Airbnb. Bitch, I put it on Airbnb so I can rent it when I go on the road and make extra money. Why y'all so mad? Y'all so mad? Y'all got a new crib? Y'all mad because I got 10 bathrooms I can shit all day? So TMZ, thanks for the free promo. DJ Academics, you...
Fueled the fire. The wealthy entrepreneur who had originally owned the photo challenged the rapper to put his money where his mouth was. He asked him to match a $100,000 charity donation to prove the wealth he flaunted was real. But the challenge went unanswered. For many fans, that silence spoke louder than any flex he could post on Instagram.
They signed me to a deal to Atari. Big shout out to Atari, the whole staff. I'm about to revamp the company. We're gonna take Atari to the next level. Everybody go follow at Atari. I am now the owner of Atari. I own the video game company Atari. They was real proud of me and what I did with the Soulja Boy game console. You know what I'm saying? I blew Soulja Boy game up. We about to sell the company for like, was it 100? I think I'm gonna get 140 million. So Atari reached out and I just signed a deal with Atari. I signed 2 deals with Atari. I'm the owner.
Instagram. Those stories were sending fans into hysterics. A new wave of drama began with one of hip-hop's most polarizing figures. He had built his brand on chaos, controversy, and rainbow-colored statements. So it was no surprise that when he joined a jeweler...
First of all, Atari. Second of all, I've been making millions from my Soulja Boy gang console, minding my own business. Atari, y'all pussy ass called me and said y'all wanted me to revamp y'all company. Bitch ass, y'all know what the I meant when I said I'm owning Atari. Atari is a public traded company. Can't no one man own the shit. So first of all, Atari, eat a motherfucking dick. Don't call my phone no more asking me to help y'all promote shit. Dead video game company. When nobody talk about no mother.
To test diamonds live on camera, everyone tuned in. He called out celebrities who wore fake ice, bragging that his own chains were flawless. He demanded the jeweler put his pieces under the tester first, daring anyone to question him. But then came the moment no one could have predicted. The device beeped in a way that suggested his chain wasn't passing the test. Face twisted in shock. The room grew tense, and voices overlapped as he insisted the jeweler was
You
holding.
announced you had a $400 million deal with the World
That
Poker
was
Fund.
facts. What is what?
You said it was an $80 million a year contract for 5 years for in-flight.
Facts. Google it. I still got the contract right now. What are you talking about?
Well, the company said it turned out that it was just shares that were valued at $2.5 million.
Same thing. Well, millions is millions, my baby.
No, soldier. Millions is not millions. You can't say 400 million and the stock is only 2.5. That's a big difference.
Millions is millions, my baby. Come on, man. Money is money, Shaw.
So that was a real deal. It just wasn't.
That was real, Charlotte.
It wasn't the initial number you said.
Yeah.
Holding the tester wrong. Nah, bro, you not on the stone, he snapped, pushing his hand forward again. Fans watching the clip replayed it over and over, debating whether the jeweler really made a mistake or if the piece was truly fake. The irony was too perfect to ignore. A man who had accused others of rocking fake diamonds suddenly under suspicion himself. The comments poured in, some defending him, others laughing. But everyone locked into.
Follow me back to my crib. I got a double gate in my community at the time. I'm living in Atlanta, Georgia, in a mansion. I'm chilling in the studio. Me and A-Rab in the studio. Jabbar went to take the trash out. We come back in, Soldier. I just seen some fans ride by the house while I was taking the trash out. I said, what the f? Some fans grabbed the pistol, go outside, look, I don't see shit, come back in the crib.
According to Soulja Boy, he came out shooting at the robbers, hitting one of them and scaring the rest away.
I'm in the studio listening to some beats. All I hear is boom, real loud. Instantly stop the music. A-Rap passed me the pistol. Bam, I look through the door. I see like 3-4 niggas running through the crib. One nigga run to the front door. I hop out, I start shooting. Bow, 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 bow. Shot the nigga. Bow, shot his ass. Bow, 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 bow. All the niggas run out the door, they run out the door. This nigga flow, walk up to this nigga, take his mask off his head. Looked at it, saw who it was. I'm like, damn. Shot his ass again. Bow.
Into the drama of seeing the hunter become the hunted. It seemed like every day a new rapper was being dragged into the fake flex conversation. One had his jewelry questioned, another had his stories debunked, and still another had his entire lifestyle challenged. Fans weren't just entertained, they were obsessed. Group chats lit up. Podcasts dedicated entire episodes to the topic, and old clips began resurfacing. It wasn't just about jewelry anymore. It was about authenticity, image, and whether the stars people looked up to were living real lives or selling crafted illusions. And behind the screens, behind the comments and the memes, insiders whispered about what this exposure really meant. Some said it was a wake-up call for artists to be more careful, to stop stretching the truth because fans now had the tools.
He called out Gilly's BS.
When I was in the street robbing niggas, I ain't want to be loved. I wanted to be feared. I wanted them to know when I walk up. Like I said in the song, by the time I was 18, I walk up on the corner and none of them niggas stayed long. And I ain't lying, kid, I had that iron sig and my heart fucking bigger than a lion's is. I wanted niggas to, when you walk up, you wanted niggas to get the, oh shit. Here come them.
Oh, where the f was I at? You walked up on corners and they didn't talk to us. Ain't nobody.
Ain't
nobody fucking leave.
Let me tell you something.
Who the f left?
All right.
Everybody, hey, Wallow, what's up? Yeah, what's going on? Where the f was I at, in jail? When you walked up on the corner, ain't nobody stay long. Everybody was sitting there. Listen, every time we went on the corner, I'm just saying, I don't know what he's talking about. Everybody stayed the whole time.
He know what I'm talking about. But he know what I'm talking about. But that
to fact check instantly. Others argued that the spectacle was part of the game, that hip-hop had always thrived on exaggeration and image, and that these exposures only made the culture more exciting. But one thing was certain. Every rapper who had been caught in these moments carried a new scar, a new reminder that in today's world, every claim could be tested, every story could be picked apart, and every flex could be undone in the blink of an eye. From those first exposures hadn't even cooled down when another storm rolled through the culture. Fans, still replaying the clips of chains with CZ labels and Rolex bezels dropping in public, suddenly found themselves watching a whole new set of allegations unfold. This time, the spot.
You owe me 60 bands, and you have to perform the song right now in the crib. What are we talking about? What are you talking about? I'm giving you an out. I'm not Baby, I'm not Boosie. You don't owe me no 2 rags, 5 rags. You owe me 60 bands.
Spotlight fell on an artist whose career had always been built around wild claims and over-the-top declarations. The man known for shouting that he was the first to do everything was once again in the middle of the fire. It started with a casual live stream where he proudly announced to his followers that he now owned one of the most iconic video game companies in history. He spoke with such conviction, smiling and boasting that the company had
I'm sorry, let me get my 5 band, man.
I can't wait to get you. I can't.
You right now.
He's so funny. He's so funny, man.
I'm dead ass. You know, I made rap go up and down. You up right now. Don't worry about it.
Man, this is so rich, man.
I'll wait on your next hit.
Let me tell you how you rich you is. You don't even bother me about that.
Want me to wait on your next hit?
Yeah, hell yeah. I got you shit. Yeah.
Well, owe me 5,000, man. I'm waiting on your next hit. How long you owe me?
Like 3 months.
That's a lot.
5?
April. About 5, 6 months.
reached out to him personally, that for a moment his fans almost believed it. "They was proud of me," he said confidently.
Family calling, man, I need this. Everybody, like, nigga, this shit is not right, my nigga. At this point, it's like, why the f you on this earth still? Like, why you still, why the f you, like, why the hell you on this earth? Why, when nobody f with you? I haven't made no music. I haven't made no money for music in like two and a half years. Like I say, you can't use Drake with me, you can't use...
Talking about his supposed success with his own gaming console. "I own Atari now." The words sent shockwaves through social media. Some were amazed, some skeptical, and many laughed at the absurdity. Official gaming company put out a statement denying his claim entirely. They clarified that no, he didn't own them, and yes, they had seen the viral video. The internet erupted with memes, and the rapper himself went on another live rant, this time furious. "Y'all know what I meant," he shouted, insisting that his partnership had been twisted and that people were trying to play him. Emotions ran high as he cursed out the company, doubling down and spinning his narrative into something far more dramatic than it started. Fans were split. Was he trolling, lying, or just misunderstood? It wasn't the first time his grand claims had been called out. Years earlier, he bragged about buying a $6 million Hollywood penthouse, posting videos of himself walking through luxurious halls and pointing at lavish decor. But the illusion cracked quickly. Eagle-eyed viewers recognized the same property listed on Airbnb for under $1,000 a night. Soon after, a popular blogger confirmed the listing, exposing the whole story. Yet when confronted, the rapper didn't back down. He claimed he had put the property on Airbnb himself to make extra money, brushing off the criticism with a smirk. But perhaps the most explosive exaggeration of his career came when he announced a massive $400 million endorsement deal. Fans and fellow rappers gasped at the number. Some even congratulated him on the achievement. But industry insiders were quick to investigate.
What were you like in high school?
Terrible. The biggest bully. I once robbed my whole gym. The whole gym.
Like
70 kids
robbed them?
without a gun. Like, yo, everybody give me your coats, give me your Walkmans, give me your this. Some of the kids I was actually cool with. And I was like, yo, run it. Everybody, run it. I couldn't even carry it. Some of the guys I robbed had to help me carry the stuff with them.
A story like that was going to have people talking for sure. It got the whole internet buzzing, with skits being made to show how the alleged robbery played out. And as internet comedian Will Mills explained, it's unlikely any unarmed individual would be able to jack 70 people in a room all by themselves.
He said he robbed a whole gym. A Bronx school gym. The Bronx. He said he robbed 70 kids by himself at no weapon, at hand point, right? Went around, robbed everybody. So everybody stayed put. Nobody decided to jump him. I'm painting a picture here for you, Vlad. He said he had so much stuff that some of the people he robbed helped him carry it.
And what they found was far less impressive. The deal, it turned out, wasn't hundreds of millions at all. It was stock shares valued at a few million. Still a good amount, but nowhere close to the jaw-dropping figure he had thrown into the world. Once again, the internet pounced, accusing him of lying to elevate his image. And as if the financial exaggerations weren't enough, his stories about his past began drawing suspicion too. Years ago, a robbery at his home made headlines, with reports stating intruders got away with jewelry and cash. But when he later retold the incident during a sit-down interview, the details had transformed into something out of an action movie. He described firing shots, chasing the intruders, even hitting one of them in dramatic fashion. Fans were entertained, but skeptics pointed back to his original police statement where he admitted to hiding in the dark, scared and silent. The contradiction was too glaring to ignore. These moments piled on top of each other, painting a picture of a man who thrived on blurring the line between fact and fiction. For his supporters, it was just part of...
Is there anything about Ross and his career that you have any respect for?
No, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I never wanted to work with him. Like, you know, I understand from a perspective of someone who's just listening to what it sounds like.
Hey, I mean, he's a great rapper.
Like, but does it matter that he's a correctional officer? Does that ever matter? Does it matter? Even when artists, look at the irony of the artists that come under him.
So Meek.
Right.
Wale.
Prison reform. And all of the wrongfully convicted and wrongfully treated people in the prison system.
I see where you're going.
While he's on the whole other side
of his persona, a showman who knew how to stay relevant by stirring controversy. But for his critics, it was proof that he had built a career on stories that didn't hold up under scrutiny. Either way, his name never left the headlines, which might have been his goal all along. While fans debated whether his antics were intentional
Have you ever seen anybody confront Rick Ross about you?
Like we talked about, when you got some money, they don't care if you beating women or making them lick tampons. You know, everybody fuck with you.
Right.
So, you know, he was on top of the world at one time.
He was a corrections officer.
Yeah, but he was. But when he got some money, they forgot about he was a correctional officer. You got gangsters, you know, doing records with him, and you know, I got letters from guys that was in jail with him when he was a correctional officer, and they told me what a shitty guy he was. You know, that they would be shooting dice, he would take the dice and all the money, and they got extra soup, he'd take the soups. They say that's the kind of cop he was. And then when I hear
trolling or desperate flexing, another rapper found himself under a similar cloud. In one of the most awkward podcast moments ever captured, he leaned forward and boasted about how feared he was in the streets. He painted a picture of walking on...
How do you feel about Bossa giving you the name Officer Ricky? I just want to hear it from you.
Baby, I'm worth too much money to even be, you know, sidetracked on this carpet. You know what I mean?
We're not trying to sidetrack you, though. I'm not trying to sidetrack you at all.
I'm just letting you know that, just so you'll know.
To corners, intimidating entire groups who scattered as soon as they saw him. The words rolled out smooth, as if he believed every syllable. But what he hadn't counted on was his cousin sitting right beside. With a quick laugh and a shake of the head, his cousin cut him off. "Where was I when this happened?" he asked, looking straight into the camera. "Every time we walked up, everybody stayed. Ain't nobody leaving." The tension in the room shifted instantly. Fans watching could almost feel the embarrassment as the cousin dismantled his story in real time. The clip spread across the internet, and people praised the cousin for keeping it real. What made the moment even more powerful was how familiar it felt to viewers. Everyone knows someone who exaggerates their past, and watching it happen live on air gave fans a rare peek behind the curtain of rap bravado. This wasn't about jewelry or money, it was about reputation. And once your own family checks you in front of millions, recovering that tough image becomes nearly impossible. The exposure didn't stop there. Just when fans thought they had seen it all, another artist's struggles came spilling out in public. This time, it wasn't about fake jewelry or exaggerated stories, but about debts, disappointments, and the weight of keeping up appearances. A young star who had once dominated charts with a viral love anthem began to crack under the pressure of maintaining the lifestyle. Rumors swirled that he owed money to bigger names in the industry. Whispers about unpaid debts turned into videos of him being pressed by other artists. In one clip, a superstar made him sing one of his hits in exchange for forgiving a $60,000 debt. Fans watched, cringing as the performance turned into a spectacle. In another video, a different rapper confronted him in a jewelry store demanding repayment of a smaller loan. The young artist smiled nervously, deflecting with humor. But the tension in his eyes told soon after, he broke down on a live stream, admitting he had lost the support of major friends, that he hadn't made serious money in years, and that he felt abandoned. His honesty shocked fans, who had only seen him flaunting designer clothes and flashy posts on social media. The reality was painful. Behind the curated lifestyle was a young man spiraling under the weight of expectations. The internet reacted with a mix of sympathy and ridicule. Some urged him to take time off and find peace, while others mocked him for trying too hard to keep up with an image he couldn't afford. The drama only intensified as family members were said to be calling him, asking for help he could no longer provide. Emotions ran high, and the fans who once adored him now debated whether his downfall was self-inflicted or the cruel result of an industry that eats its own. These stories connected in unexpected ways. They weren't just about chains and watches, or even jets and penthouses. They were about pride, pressure, and the endless cycle of proving yourself to an audience that never stops watching. Each rapper, in their own way, had fallen victim to the same trap, presenting a lifestyle so glossy that the smallest crack would make the whole illusion shatter. And once those cracks showed, the crowd that once cheered turned into the same crowd that laughed. The main stage of hip-hop had turned into a theater where the truth, the lies, and the exaggerations all blended together. But fans weren't just watching the music anymore. They were watching the spectacle. Every new clip, every new revelation, every awkward laugh or angry rant became part of the larger drama, and the audience couldn't get enough. The spotlight that had already burned through so many carefully polished images now turned brighter, refusing to let anyone hide behind smoke and mirrors. The culture was buzzing, blogs were updating by the hour, and fans were refreshing their feeds just to catch the latest twist. Each revelation seemed bigger than the last, and the line between entertainment and embarrassment grew thinner by the second. Rappers who had once projected untouchable power suddenly found themselves defending stories that just didn't add up. After the infamous diamond tester fiasco, another layer of intrigue surfaced. This time, it was about one of the industry's most successful figures, a man whose music was filled with vivid depictions of street life, drug deals, and survival. For years, he had built an image as a larger-than-life hustler turned mogul. But whispers about his past started echoing louder, and soon receipts were flooding in. Fans discovered records showing he had once worked not as a street hustler, but as a correctional officer. And left people torn. Some said it was proof he had fabricated an entire persona, that his tales of moving weight and dodging the law were pure theater. Others argued that it didn't matter, that music had always been about storytelling and projection, not strict autobiography. Still, the drama stuck to him like glue, and when old inmates allegedly wrote letters describing how he acted back when he wore the badge, it only fanned the flames. One even claimed he confiscated their dice and soup during games, painting a picture far from the ruthless kingpin his lyrics described. The man himself at first denied it all. Then, when the evidence became undeniable, he softened his stance, admitting he had worked in the system, but claiming it was just a short stint. Later, more documents showed it had lasted much longer than he originally said. Fans were left shaking their heads. Critics pounced, saying credibility once lost is nearly impossible to regain. And still, he carried on, performing at sold-out shows, his bank account swelling. The irony was impossible to ignore. He had been exposed, yet he remained one of the most influential artists in the game. Another bizarre claim resurfaced, this one belonging to a rapper known for bold statements and flashy behavior. During an old interview, he insisted that in high school he had robbed his entire gym class. Not 1 or 2 students, but 70 of them in a single sweep. No weapon, no backup, just his presence. He boasted that some of the same kids he robbed even helped him carry the loot afterward. The story sounded so unbelievable that it spread like wildfire, not as admiration, but as comedy. Internet comedians recreated the supposed event. Skits went viral, and fans laughed at the sheer audacity. 70 kids at once? One commentator joked, "What did they all do? Stand in line and hand over their stuff like a checkout counter?" The rapper stood by his story for a while, but the internet never let it rest. Even years later, whenever he tried to talk tough, people dragged the 70 kids line back into the conversation, a permanent stain on his legacy of exaggerated tales. And if those exaggerations weren't wild enough, another artist faced an exposure that attacked the very foundation of his career. Tyga, who had carefully crafted an image of being from the gritty streets of Compton, suddenly found himself the subject of an old TV clip making the rounds again. In that footage, filmed before he had truly broken into the mainstream, he described a very different upbringing. He casually mentioned that his parents owned luxury cars, that he lived in a comfortable part of the San Fernando Valley, and that his childhood wasn't as tough as he later made it out to be. When the clip resurfaced, fans were quick to call him out. Was the Compton story a fabrication to gain credibility? He insisted that the TV segment had been scripted, that he only said what the producers told him to say. But the damage was already done. The contradiction planted doubt in fans' minds, and the question of his authenticity became an ongoing shadow. At the same time, a younger star, known more for his soft love ballads than street stories, spiraled into his own kind of exposure. He had spent recklessly at the height of his fame, blowing through money on designer clothes, jewelry, and luxury experiences. When the hits slowed down, the money dried up, but the image remained. To maintain it, he borrowed from bigger names in the game. The most infamous example came when Drake jokingly demanded repayment of $60,000, right there on camera. He laughed, but the tension in the room was undeniable. Drake, ever the entertainer, made him sing on the spot to cover part of his debt, turning what might have been a private humiliation into a viral spectacle. Another video showed Lil Baby pressing him in a jewelry store, asking for $5,000 he was owed. Once again, the young artist smiled nervously, trying to keep things light, but the internet read between the lines. Fans debated whether he was a victim of the industry or simply careless. But either way, his financial troubles were now public knowledge. His eventual breakdown online pulled back the curtain completely. With tears in his eyes, he admitted that he felt abandoned, that the people he once called friends no longer returned his calls, and that the pressure to keep up appearances had driven him into despair. Fans reacted with a mix of sympathy and ridicule, their comments ranging from, "We're praying for you," to, "You should have saved your money." The tragedy was real, and it highlighted the brutal truth that behind every flex was the risk of being left with nothing. The stories kept stacking, one after another. Some rappers fell victim to their own lies, others to unfortunate accidents, and some to the relentless fact-checking power of the internet. It wasn't just about the music anymore. It was about who could withstand the constant scrutiny of millions of eyes ready to zoom, screenshot, and expose at any moment. And yet, despite the ridicule, despite the memes, one thing became clear. The audience was hooked. The culture was thriving not just on beats and bars, but on drama. Fans wanted the music, yes, but they also wanted the spectacle. Every fall from grace, every exaggerated claim exposed, every diamond that didn't pass the test, it all became part of the ongoing story that no one could look away from. The waves of exposure that had already shaken the culture were only the beginning, because just when fans thought the stories couldn't get more surreal, another set of revelations arrived and set the internet ablaze again. People were no longer just entertained, they were addicted. Podcasts devoted entire hours to replaying old clips. Fans dissected interviews frame by frame, and industry insiders whispered that credibility itself was collapsing as a currency. One of the loudest echoes came from a rapper whose career had been defined by extremes. He was known for flamboyant fashion, unpredictable outbursts, and a knack for staying in headlines whether for music or controversy. When he posted a gleaming photo of a watch he claimed was a rare gift from a powerful figure overseas, fans flooded his page with congratulations. It looked expensive, it looked exclusive, and it seemed to add another chapter to his legend. But not everyone was convinced. A well-known online page dedicated to exposing fake watches zoomed in on the details. They compared the rapper's post to authentic models and quickly declared that the piece wasn't real at all. 56. The announcement was brutal. Fans who had admired the watch now ridiculed it, and memes spread with captions mocking the idea of luxury bought on clearance. To make matters worse, the official watch brand was contacted directly, and they confirmed the accusations. The watch was fake. Confronted with the truth, the rapper tried to shift the story. One day he said it had been a gift from a sheikh. The next he insisted he bought it himself from a jeweler who had misled him. Whichever version people believed, the damage was permanent. This wasn't just about one watch. It was about trust. If fans couldn't believe the authenticity of his jewelry, how much of his image was real at all? Conversations about the rap industry turned darker. Was everyone lying? Were all the chains and watches nothing more than props in a long-running performance? And while fans debated those questions, another throwback clip resurfaced that added fuel to the fire. This time it was a young Bow Wow, already infamous for the private jet scandal that showed him posting a stock image while sitting in commercial class. But now, people were pulling up the time he tried to claim another man's money as his own. The photo he had posted, a pyramid of cash, wasn't his at all. It belonged to a millionaire entrepreneur who exposed him instantly. The exposure turned into a feud, with the entrepreneur challenging Bow Wow to prove his wealth by matching a massive charity donation. Bow Wow never responded, and the silence became its own kind of confession. The jet and the cash combined into one of the internet's most enduring jokes. Whenever he tried to promote new music or projects, fans flooded his comments with airplane emojis and dollar-stacked gifs. It wasn't just trolling. It was a constant reminder that in the age of receipts, every slip-up becomes permanent. But not all exposures came from objects or posts. Some came from the mouths of rappers themselves. Fat Joe, a legend in his own right, stunned people when he sat down for an interview and casually told a story about how he once robbed his entire high school gym class. 70 people, according to him, stripped of coats and Walkmans, all without him even carrying a weapon. He told the tale like it was a badge of honor, even adding that some of the same kids helped him carry the stolen goods. The story exploded online, not as proof of toughness, but as comedy. Fans couldn't wrap their heads around the logistics. 70 people against one man, and nobody fought back. Nobody ran. Skits flooded TikTok and Instagram, showing exaggerated replays of how such a scene could have gone down. Comedians mocked the idea of teenagers politely lining up to hand over their possessions like it was a school assembly. Joe's story might have been meant to intimidate, but instead, it left him the butt of the joke. And then came the ultimate humiliation for the genre. A moment when one rapper's claim of dominance fell apart not in front of strangers, but in front of his own family. Gilly the Kid had tried to paint himself as a feared figure from his past, claiming that when he walked onto corners, everyone scattered. It was a bold picture of dominance, the kind of legend rappers build entire personas around. But sitting right next to him was his cousin Wallow, and Wallow wasn't having it. Live on the podcast, in front of cameras and millions of viewers, Wallow shook his head and cut him off. "Where was I when this happened?" he asked. Everybody stayed. "Ain't nobody left." The silence that followed was deafening. Gilly tried to recover, insisting that Wallow knew what he meant, but the clip was already viral. Fans laughed, not just at the story itself, but at the rare moment of raw honesty in an industry built on exaggeration. It was as if the curtain had been pulled back, and the audience was finally seeing the truth. Meanwhile, young stars like YK Osiris showed a different side of exposure. Not fake jewelry or tall tales, but the reality of financial collapse. Once celebrated for a breakout hit, he had spent recklessly and lived as if the success would never end. When the money ran out, he borrowed from bigger names. Drake turned his debt into a spectacle, making him sing for forgiveness. Lil Baby demanded repayment in public, laughing but clearly serious. Osiris's attempt to laugh it off only made the sting sharper. When he eventually went live and confessed his struggles, the reaction was mixed. Some sympathized, pointing out how hard it is to manage sudden fame. Others mocked him, saying he should never have tried to live beyond his means. His confession that even family no longer supported him painted a bleak picture of the industry's dark side. All these stories, from fake chains to fabricated pasts, from falling watch bezels to private jet lies, pointed to the same truth. Hip-hop's obsession with image had become a double-edged sword. The higher the flex, the harder the fall. And for fans, every exposure became another chapter in a soap opera that felt bigger than any TV show. As the dust settled on each revelation, one question kept resurfacing. Was the industry itself creating these pressures? Were young artists forced into fake flexing because authenticity alone didn't sell anymore? Or was it simply the human desire to be seen as larger than life, magnified under the harsh glow of social media? Whatever the answer, one thing was undeniable. Fans couldn't stop watching. Every fall from grace, every exaggerated claim that crumbled under scrutiny, every diamond that failed to sparkle under a tester. These became the moments that defined an era where truth was optional, but entertainment was everything. The drama didn't let up, and by this point, fans had stopped even pretending to be surprised. The culture had shifted into a cycle where each new week seemed to deliver another shocking clip, another confession, another story that blurred the line between entertainment and embarrassment. It wasn't just about who had the hottest verse or the biggest hit anymore. It was about who could survive the spotlight without their story collapsing in real time. The last waves of exposure came crashing in with a mix of chaos and irony. Rick Ross, already dealing with the fallout of his correctional officer past, faced renewed attention when Freeway Rick Ross, the real drug kingpin whose name he borrowed, called him out again. The former kingpin reminded the world that the rapper not only stole his name, but also built an entire persona off experiences he never lived. He even claimed that Ross had treated inmates poorly back when he wore the badge. For fans, it was a dizzying contradiction. How could someone who rapped about protecting the streets be accused of abusing power behind prison walls? Ross brushed it off, continuing to live his luxury mogul lifestyle. But the questions never fully disappeared. They hovered like shadows over his every move. Reminders that even the most successful artists couldn't fully escape the weight of exposure once the receipts had surfaced. Meanwhile, other rappers stumbled into equally messy revelations. One clip from years back, forgotten until fans dug it up, showed Tyga casually admitting that his parents had owned luxury cars while he grew up in a comfortable neighborhood in the Valley. The problem was, for years he had sold a different story, one of hardship and survival in Compton. When the contradiction resurfaced, fans weren't forgiving. They laughed, they pointed out the inconsistencies, and they questioned why rappers felt the need to create fake struggle narratives in the first place. Tyga responded by saying the TV segment had been scripted, but by then the narrative had slipped out of his control. Interview 27/16-27/57. Then there was Ace Hood, whose Rolex disaster on the Bet red carpet had already become meme gold. Long after the incident, people still joked about it, with new edits surfacing every few months. Soulja Boy, never one to miss a chance to clown someone else, had even used it in his own live streams, joking that Raleighs don't fall apart unless they're made from the corner store. Ace claimed he fired his jeweler and tried to move on, but the stain lingered. It became a case study in how one bad moment could follow an artist forever. Bow Wow, too, never escaped the shadow of his fake jet post. No matter what he did, fans reminded him with airplane emojis and constant jokes about economy flexing. The irony was that Bow Wow himself admitted he got caught and even laughed at it years later. But by then it was no longer just his story. It was a piece of internet history. And through all these exposures, one theme connected them all: The relentless power of fans. In another era, a rapper could have claimed anything. Millions in the bank, streets feared their name, rare luxury gifts, and no one would have been able to disprove it. But now, fans had Google, screenshots, receipts, and endless time to investigate. They zoomed into jewelry boxes, cross-checked stock photos, and replayed interviews frame by frame. They became detectives, fact-checkers, and comedians all at once. This shift put every artist under pressure. Even those who had never been exposed were forced to be more careful, knowing one slip could turn into a viral meme. Insiders whispered that new rappers were now investing in real jewelry out of fear of being tested in public. Managers begged their artists to stop exaggerating in interviews, warning them that the internet would catch up. And yet, the cycle continued, because the truth was that drama sold. Fans weren't just listening to the music, they were tuning in for the stories, the scandals, the spectacle. One moment a rapper was bragging about a chain. The next, they were being dragged across social media for it being fake. One day an artist was claiming ownership of a gaming company. The next, the company itself was issuing a statement shutting them down. Even more ironic was how some of these exposures actually boosted careers, rather than destroyed them. The memes kept rappers' names alive. The scandals gave them new relevance, and the drama made them unforgettable. Soulja Boy, for example, had made a career out of leaning into exaggeration. Every time he was called out, he flipped it into more attention, more headlines, more visibility. Interview 28/11/28/29. By the end of this storm of revelations, the message was clear. The hip-hop world had become a stage where every move was monitored, every claim was challenged, and every flex risked turning into its opposite. Some rappers crumbled under the pressure, breaking down in public or losing credibility with fans. Others thrived in the chaos, laughing at the accusations and finding ways to spin the exposure into fuel for their persona. But whether the chains were real or fake, whether the jets were private or coach, whether the pasts were lived or invented, the stories themselves became part of the culture. Fans weren't just following the music, they were following the saga. The spectacle of rappers being exposed for fake lifestyles became entertainment in its own right, as addictive as the beats that carried their songs. And that's the irony. In a world where authenticity is supposed to matter most, it was the lies, the exaggerations, and the exposures that kept the fans watching, talking, and demanding more. And as wild as all of this sounds, the truth is we may never really know how much of the lifestyle is authentic and how much is carefully crafted illusion. What we do know is that the drama isn't slowing down anytime soon. Every new interview, every flashy post, every red carpet moment has the potential to spark the next viral headline. And fans, they're not just watching, they're waiting. Waiting for the next chain to slip, the next story to crack, the next jet photo to be fact-checked. So what do you think? Are these rappers simply playing the game the way it's always been played? Or has the pressure of social media made the fake flex spiral out of control? Do you feel sorry for them when they get exposed? Or do you think they bring it on themselves by trying too hard to impress? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your take on who's guilty, who's innocent, and who just got caught at the wrong time. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of the most shocking exposures in hip-hop, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next deep dive. Because in this culture, the music might make you dance, but the drama? That's what keeps everybody talking. Stay tuned because the next big reveal could be just one post away.